I'm gonna pull the old lifter back in the day shit right now, but the lifters today are so goddamn spoiled. It's fucking ridiculous. You know, when I first started training, there's cement weights on a fucking stupid bar in some dude's garage.
Right.
That didn't last very long. Then, you know, I was put into a powerlifting gym, so I was fortunate, but there wasn't a lot of shit there.
We need to talk. So, if you watched or listened to, I guess it would be listened to because there's no video for it, episode 82 of the podcast, the Table Talk podcast with Dave Tate and myself, we broached the subject of nowadays, a lot of people are taking for granted the types of gym equipment they have, the type of facility they have access to. Dave even went on to say that the lifters of today are super spoiled with the amount of equipment that they have at their disposal. Let me take a sip of my watermelon warlord here. And I wanted to jump into that a little bit more because we kind of got cut off a little bit on the podcast. We got a little bit sidetracked. One of the biggest things that I see with newer lifters or lifters on the channel asking questions, which I love. I love answering questions. I love it that you guys are asking questions. But a lot of the times that we're looking at the questions that come in, and it seems that the focus of your training is kind of directed a little bit more towards minutia or the tiny details as opposed to the bigger, broader principles that you should be focusing in on. So what we wanted to do today is we kind of wanted to jump into a little bit of a different style of video. Let us know if you like this stuff because we can do all sorts of different topics. But really wanting to give you a resource that you can use to get a better understanding for your training or get a better direction for your training. So what we kind of want to go into today is what is really important for training, right? If you're a newer lifter or if you're an advanced lifter and you may have forgotten a lot of this stuff, the major rocks or the big rocks when it comes to training that are really, really important. I feel like the fucking president here, my table with this really close camera. So what is important for training? What is important for progressing in your training or in your strength sport or whatever it is? First and foremost, you have to enjoy it, right? Nobody's going to be getting paid a lot of money for this. Nobody's going to be making a living doing this. If you are not enjoying your training, if you're not enjoying doing what you're doing, you're wasting your time. You're putting yourself in situations that you're not going to get enjoyment out of. You're not going to have fun doing it. And if you don't enjoy training, if you don't enjoy what it is that you're doing, you're never going to get really good results from it, right? So that would be pretty much the biggest rock, first and foremost, is I see a lot of questions that come in of like, I'm doing this program, I'm getting tons of results, but I want to do this program and this and this and that, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's like, one of the first things I ask is like, do you enjoy what you're doing? And most of the time, like, yeah, I love it. I'm getting stronger and I'm enjoying the process. It's like, then why change, right? Then why would you adjust something that doesn't need to be adjusted? Why do you have to fix something that's not broken, right? So that's number one, right? You really need to understand why it is you're doing something, right? Whether it's for fun or competitive, but you also have to enjoy that process. So that's big rock number one that I really want to go over with everybody. And this is something that needs to get stressed over and over is you need to enjoy the process. You need to enjoy the steps that lead you to where you want to go, or else you're just not going to do it. The second thing I think everybody needs to focus in on more is technique. And this is not a dig at anybody that's ever sent me videos on technique. I will help everybody with whatever they need. But one of the first things I always see when someone sends in a video for us to take a look at is that there's usually way too much weight on the bar and that their technique is not dialed in. And I understand there's a lot of you that haven't been training for very long, and there are some of you that have been training for a long time but just really haven't worried about technique. But technique is one of the biggest things that you need to focus in on regardless of what you're training for. Whether it's strongman, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's a sport, the technique and how you do something is more important than how heavy you do something, right? So in that vein, technique is one of the biggest building blocks for you to increase the amount of weight on the bar. we've seen it, and we have a Train Your Ass Off coming up this weekend, and I get to be a part of that, which is always exciting. And we even see high-end advanced lifters whom do a really good job of taking the information that Dave presents to them over the weekend, critiquing and adjusting their technique throughout the weekend, and they'll get 10, 15, 20 pounds over their PR. And that's just technical, right? Technique is always something you can improve on. Technique is something that you can always focus in on. And it's way more important than anything else when you're first starting out in training, or even if you've been training for a long time. Sometimes it's good to kind of take a lot of that weight off the bar, hammer on some technique, work on the things that you're not good at, and just try to get better, right? The program you're on doesn't necessarily matter nearly as much. The program you're on doesn't dictate the results that you get. The effort that you put in, the consistency that you have, and the fucking just, and I don't want to get too fired up here, but there are so many people that think that programs are magic. There are so many people that think the reps and set are magic. There's no such thing as magic at this shit. There is no secrets. The progress comes when you intelligently follow a program, even if it's a shitty program, whatever it may be, it can still give you positive results. You can still learn from it. I'm not saying like ditch the program you're on and just make shit up. What I am saying is that you need to realize that the effort that you put into something is far better and far more productive for you in terms of your training, in terms of your progress over time, than the exact program you're following. Ask any of the best lifters in the world, the ones that have a coach or the ones that have been doing it for a long time, they'll tell you that it's not about the reps and sets. It's really not. It's really, really not. It's about the effort that you put into it. It's about the consistency of your effort. And it's about all the other things outside of training that will have a bigger impact on your training. What's your stress like in your day-to-day life? What's your nutrition like? Are you sleeping? Are you eating? All of this shit you can focus in on and get better at. And frankly, that's the stuff that's going to make a bigger difference in your training. It's not one program versus the other. It's the boring shit. It's the boring shit that nobody wants to focus in on. It's the boring shit that nobody wants to talk about and nobody wants to fucking do. Because realistically, the boring shit is boring. But that's the stuff that's going to make the biggest impact. That's the stuff that's going to make you better as a lifter, and it's going to make you better as an athlete. And I wanted to really make this video because I'm kind of sick of having the same conversations over and over. Is they're worried about this wrap versus that wrap. And believe me, we sell wraps. I want to sell you all the fucking wraps. But at the end of the day, it's not those little things. It's not the type of knee wrap or the type of sleeve that's going to make the biggest difference for you. It's your technique. It's your commitment to the process. It's your work ethic. It's your diet. It's your sleep. It's your hydration. It's all this stuff. These are the big rocks, right? These are the things that we need to be focusing in on. By focusing in on all the little tiny shit, what we're doing is we're building this house on a shitty foundation, right? It's like if you're building a house and you're like, instead of worrying about what the foundation's made out of, wonder what color my tablecloth is going to be. Or I wonder what color my utensils are going to be. It's like it doesn't fucking matter what the utensils are. It doesn't matter what the blinds colors are at this point in time. You got to build the house. You got to build the house. You got to do what you need to do to get better, to have those foundations, to have the fundamentals, to have the technique. And then you can start worrying about what color you want to paint the walls. So guys, I don't know where this video is going to go or what we're going to do with this video, but I really hope that you got something out of this conversation. At least you can get a different perspective on your training and understanding what's really important, right? At the end of the day, we all want to get better. We don't like doing stuff we suck at. But there's a point in time when the only means for us to get better is to do the things we suck at. Practice that technique, get better sleep, eat better, make sure you're getting your protein in, make sure you're getting your hydration, limit your caffeine as I hammer one of these 300 milligram caffeine things. I just want you guys to be better. I want to share as much information I have from my point of view, from my perspective, because I have such a cool opportunity to be here at Elite FTS. This is my job, It's so friggin' cool, and I want to share as much good information as I can with you guys. When I learn something, I want to share it with you. When I'm in a position where I can improve myself, I want to bring up everybody, all the people that follow this channel, all the people that follow our social media, everybody that's ever been a part of Elite FTS. I want to be in a position where I can help bridge the gap between where you are now to where you could be, and we try to do that with as much information as content as we possibly can. So this was kind of a little bit more of a serious video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And on behalf of myself and Jacob behind the camera, I hope you share this with somebody, share it with your lifting partner, share it with your gym, share it with your coach, whoever you want to share it with. We'll really appreciate it. Leave any comments down below, and make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things, and we will see you in the next one.
What the fuck is going on with your mic?
Is it up in my...
Erect.
I was excited.
Such good audio.
Oh my God. Is that better? Is that good?
A little bit better. It's
The
put it in the center.
Center?
Yeah.
All right.
Now it's like.
Hope this stays in.